And welcome back. This is From the Sea to the C-Suite. And I'm your host, Captain Rick Hoffman. We have today Ryan Bauman from Our Community Salutes. Welcome.
Thanks so much, Rick.
Good to have you here. So we highlight those who have served in uniform and now have transitioned to service in the community. And so 20-year Marine, artilleryman, the queen of the battlefield.
The king, if
the king of the battlefield.
Yeah. King of battle.
King of the battlefield. But so you served for a while up in Kings Bay.
Did.
And then you retired here to Jacksonville. So tell me about the journey after your Marine Corps time.
I did. So I found myself in higher ed for a bit after I retired out of actually the D.C. area. I was up at Headquarters Marine Corps for my final tour, and I loved every bit of higher ed. I did a couple of gigs, one being at the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah.
It's awesome to hear that. And the other one as a business development manager doing military outreach for an online school.
Okay.
And that was my first role after I moved here to the Jacksonville area. I've been here 6 years now. Loved it. I always had Jacksonville on my mind as I moved across country throughout my Marine Corps career. I wanted to come back here after being here doing the station at Kings Bay there, and just love the area. Love the beaches. I love St. Augustine. Love the Jags. They're a fun team, and there's so many other good things to love about Jacksonville.
Well, talk to me now about your current role in Our Community Salutes.
Yeah, so I met a guy by the name of Dr. Ken Hartman in my former life there in business development as I was sponsoring some of the events he was running, and it's a beautiful mission. So Our Community Salutes hosts recognition events for high school seniors around the country that are specifically enlisting in all the branches of military service, and it's a nationwide program. And Ken brought me in as kind of his first community engagement director about 3 years ago now, after we had met through our common pathway there previously, and I've absolutely loved it. It has been so much fun. This year we were in about almost 65 cities this past spring, April and May.
So you're not just unique to North Florida.
Not at all.
You're nationally.
We were in 30 states, a couple of U.S. territories, Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands as well. And it's a wonderful mission. The families are there, the military recruiters are there, community leaders are there, business leaders are there. So we get folks from government officials, political officials. So we get all kinds of people, and across the board, we had about 14,000 people that attended in Our Community Salutes event around the country this year, which was just incredible.
That's fantastic. Yeah, again, really in this podcast, we like to highlight those who've served at the national level and now continue to serve at the community level. And you're touching communities across the country. We
are, and it's a wonderful mission, and it's hard to say no when I come calling when you're talking about recognizing kids from those individual communities.
Yeah.
And we still say kids because they're high school seniors, but yeah, they're young men and women.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, in the next few weeks after graduation, they're going to find themselves at their respective recruit training, boot camp, going off to serve their country at the ripe old age of 18 years old, and they're going to do great things. And it's amazing to see the faces, to see the diverse crowds that are out there in the cities that we're able to be in, and to see the family members, the pride.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's hesitancy. Sometimes there's a lot of uncertainty. Into what is my son or daughter getting into?
Yeah.
What my nephew, my niece, my grandson, my granddaughter. What are they actually getting into? Because there's so many of them now that are first generation service members.
Yeah.
So they may not have a family member that has experience in the military. And we come in there and we provide them with this great experience. We bring in awesome speakers, whether they're active duty leaders across the services or retired leaders, out in their respective communities. But we really try to draw on that community aspect and highlight those folks that are from their neighborhoods, from their communities, that can come out and give them a, a well wish, give them a great send off, and just put the families at ease, put that future service member at ease. And really, at the end of the day, we're trying to help the military recruiting process itself. So those recruiters have a tough job out there and what they do each and every day, and we're trying to highlight that as well for those communities.
And continued service. Not only are you serving, but you're creating the next generation of those who will serve our nation.
Yes.
You talking about kids. I laugh because in one of my leadership courses, I'm talking to college students, and the average age of an American sailor, an American Marine today, is still 23.
Yes.
So right now, the ships because that's my line of work is providing training for the combatant ships that are serving in the Indian Ocean today. The captain's not pushing the button to fire that missile.
Right.
The tactical action officer is not pushing that button to fire that missile.
Right.
That button is being pushed in the back of the Combat Information Center by a 22 or 23-year-old who's been trained,
Yep.
been given the tools, the time, and the training to learn their job.
Exactly.
But that's 22, 23. I'm looking across this room of college kids. In 2 years, it could be you standing on the bridge of a ship,
Yes.
giving orders, driving the ship in the dark, going alongside an oiler.
Yes.
The personal responsibility and growth. Everybody grows between 18 and 22. I think it's supercharged when you're in the military doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't have to grow up that fast in college,
Yeah.
based on my experience.
Right.
But you grow up very, very fast if you're serving in the United States military.
It's so true. I think it's such a formidable age for that 18 to 22-year-old, and you figure a good many of them they're only going to come in and do 4 years,
Yeah.
and only is not really. I mean, there's a lot behind that,
Yeah.
but they're going to come in and they're going to do 4 years of service, and then they're going to go off and become great Americans out in the civilian world, and the things that they learn in those 4 years is just tremendous. And yes, it's a lot more experience than what the average college kid is going to get in college. They're gonna get trained. They're gonna get a trade, if you will. They're gonna have technical skills. And they're going to be able to put that to use. They're going to come out and they're going to go back and they're going to get a degree, or they're going to go into the workforce and become that those future leaders in the companies of tomorrow, or they're going to go build their own companies, and it's amazing just the skills and the pathway to opportunity that the military can give that average 18, 19, 20-year-old coming out of you name it across this country.
Well, you're starting to see nationally a tendency to step back from that which has been the American mantra for all these years, that everybody needs to go to college. You can't succeed if you don't go to college. Right. In my day job, I do a lot of work with the ship repair industry, the folks who repair U.S. Navy warships. And I'm telling you, 22, 23-year-old tradesman, he's making good money, and he doesn't have college debt. And he's doing it now.
Exactly.
He's got 2 to 3 years, at 22, 23, he's already got 3 years of experience behind him.
Exactly.
Or if they come out of the service, last week one of my interviews was with a young fellow who was exactly what you've described. 4 years in the Navy. Today, 20 years later, he's the owner of a brewery here in Jacksonville, and the general manager of Casa Marina. And he did it all on the foundation of those first 4 years of making his bed every day, wearing the uniform, maintaining performance, dignity, and discipline.
Yep.
And so it's suddenly turned into a recruiting pitch. I'm sorry, but we and Mike, obviously Mike Rowe, who's done so much to try to highlight the fact that we are going to need trades.
Yes.
We're no longer just a service nation.
Yes.
Okay. So.
It's so true, and the idea of that discipline and the leadership that you can learn at such a young age, that's really what propels people, and that's why veterans do so well in the civilian world. When we get the opportunity and we jump at it, and we're leaps and bounds. Out there, or there's opportunity to be leaps and bounds above your counterparts, because of that discipline, that drive, that courage, that the idea of getting into the unknown. We're not worried about ambiguity. We're not worried about all of those things because we've dealt with them in service, and it really guides us in some great ways. And again, there's tons of opportunity that are out there, especially in leadership roles and things like that.
Well, let's tell our audience real quick, if somebody is inspired by having what they've heard today, how do they get in touch with you? How do they arrange an event for one of their schools?
So all they have to do is just send me an inquiry, and my email is simply ryan@ocsusa.org. You can go on our website, ourcommunitysalutes.org. Those are two different ways to just send us a note, tell us you're interested in getting involved. A lot of times what we look for in various communities are a small planning committee is the first thing to form. 2 to 4 people, 3 to 5 people, something like that can take on the work of putting together an event for your respective community. We help put together the resources behind it. We have a program that we follow. But it really is completely worth it.
It's military. There's a checklist and there's a template. I got you. Nobody's having to learn this from scratch. I got you.
Here's
the checklist.
Cases, well, I wish it were that simple. But in some cases, yes, we do, and we learn each and every year. And as the military does, the military changes course, as it does depending on what the national security outlook is, and we understand that, and we try to guide our folks through that same thing. But again, about 65 communities out there that are willing to help. 30 states. We want to be in all 50. Like that. That is our goal. And again, I would love to start one here in Jacksonville as well. So that's on my mind too. As we've got the community to do it here.
Well, we'll talk. Yeah, Jacksonville. 3 things going on. First, it's one of the only cities that has a department head in the city government. Cabinet level position for veterans and military affairs. Harrison Conyers, who's been in that seat.
He does a phenomenal job.
And he does a lot of good work, principally focused on veterans, but also across the board. And in places like Jacksonville University is the largest Navy ROTC unit in the country. Because a lot of these officer accession programs for the sailors who have performed well at sea to get that opportunity. They live in Jacksonville. They don't want to go off to college in some place up cold in the north. They want to stay right here in Jacksonville.
That's true.
So in fact, what's interesting, the Navy ROTC unit is headquartered at JU, but you can be a UNF student. The Army ROTC unit is headquartered in Gainesville, but there's a detachment here with a young, I think, captain or major in charge of the detachment. So the opportunities to go to college through an officer candidate school program is very good here in Jacksonville.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Listen, I look forward to talking to you again and seeing how maybe I can help you get something going, because I know a couple high school principals here and locally. There we go. And look forward to talking to you again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's a wrap from the C to the C-suite with Ryan Bauman, and this is Captain Rick signing off.